recording, folks. So you just got your notification there. All right. Well, I would love to welcome everybody. This is a part of our provider series that we're calling We Support. So hosted by We Connect. Our goal with these webinars is to do a couple things. And the first thing is to really connect with the providers. You know, you're our allies, you're the ones that are providing services to the members that we also get to support. So we really want to strengthen that relationship. So y'all know a little bit about what we do, how we support the individuals that we both get the privilege of working with. And, you know, a little bit of our process and also what we offer. And then we also want to do and, you know, have the opportunity to information share. So, you know, we're not clinical. Our expertise is that we are peers, we're individuals with lived experience that also have training, and we get to walk alongside and support people on their journey to recovery, however that looks for them. So I want to just introduce myself. I'm Lauren Gehring. My pronouns are she, her. And I have the privilege of working with the peer support team. And in my role, I get to support our entire peer team and just make sure that they have all that they need to do to provide the incredible services that they do. So super excited to support this initiative and really excited for the topic that we have today, which is supporting self-advocacy. And one of our peers who I'm going to allow to, you know, or asked to introduce herself, Kyla, is going to be presenting this. And I love that Kyla is presenting this because I have seen her do just an incredible job at using some of these self-advocacy tools to support members and to really engage them in having a voice. So this is a huge part of the expertise that she brings, not just to her work with members, but also to our team. So I'm excited, just like everybody else who's here, to be able to kind of lean in, to grow, and to look at ways that, you know, we can really make sure that we're supporting people to have a voice, not just in their treatment, but in their lives. So I'm going to be quiet and I'm going to toss it to Kyla. And I would, if folks are willing to introduce themselves in the chat, just your name and the agency that you're from, we would love to hear who's in the room. And so I'm going to go ahead and toss it to Kyla to introduce herself and to kick us off. So thank you everyone for being here.
Thank you so much, Lauren. Yeah, welcome everyone. Thank you for being here. And thanks for giving me this opportunity to present this. Our goal, like Lauren was saying, is to educate providers on how to support self-advocacy efforts and for the people that they support, and share how we as peer supporters use self-advocacy ourselves. So yeah, I would like to encourage everyone to use the chat if you'd like while I'm doing the presentation. We won't have time to do breakout rooms and stuff. So I thought that we could use the chat to express, you know, as we're going along, if you want to communicate in the chat, and then I can read some of the responses, or we can look at it ourselves. And yeah, so let's get started. Let's see, I'm going to share my screen. Oops, hold on one second. I'm not going to do that right now. Hold on one second. I'm just going to. Thank you for your patience. All right. There we go. Okay. So welcome to the workshop. Yeah, I'm your host, Kyla, and we have other peers here from our team, and we're really grateful that you came for this. All right. Okay, so the key learning objectives of this session is to define self-advocacy and why it's valuable, how to state our needs, find out who can help us, how to do the research, how to support people doing the research, and how to support in the documentation of the process, which can be challenging for many of us. If anyone has any ideas that they want to share along with what they do too, please feel free. And then how to make the plan to get our needs met. All right, so first of all, what is self-advocacy and why is it important? So self-advocacy is the ability for us to speak up for ourselves, to be heard, knowing that our voice matters, to assert our rights, to express the need and to make decisions about our lives, to be part of the decision process and to feel empowered. So why is it important? It's important because it helps us to build confidence, which is a huge part of our recovery process. It empowers us to navigate and change systems. This, I think, is one of the most important and interesting parts about self-advocacy is when we speak up for ourselves, oftentimes it allows the system to be exposed in ways of where it might be creating harm for the people that it's meant to serve. And so by being able to have a voice and say, hey, this, this isn't working, it can change it for all the other people that have to come next. I think this is a really powerful part of it. So it also allows us to access our resources effectively and share resources with other people, that once we get to access the resources effectively, we are able to then share that with other people that we know who are in recovery. So I think that's a big part of the importance. Where we can use it, what applications can we use this in? We can use it in healthcare, education, employment, relationships. It's a fundamental tool for personal empowerment. It changes our lives to be able to speak up for ourselves and learn how to ask for what we need. It fosters independence, and it ensures equitable treatment when we can ask for what we need. Hopefully, that is a goal. That is a tool for it, is to ensure equitable treatment and to also secure opportunities for ourselves that we might not have even dreamed were possible. Here's some areas of need. If you can think of some other areas of need, please feel free to message in the chat. We have areas of need in education, healthcare, in our employment, with our housing, legal needs. We have our needs around disability rights, which is a huge piece that we support, is around disability rights. It's a very difficult area. In the work that I do, I find that it's difficult for people to advocate in there because of the fear of being cut off from disability services. So being able to advocate around that is really important, and having a partner and a peer and support in that can be really important. Mental health, financial issues, people that need to learn to, get a hold of their financial issues. I could include myself in that. All of, many of us need that. Parenting and family, social services, treatment access, needs around our boundaries, creating boundaries, needs around our personal growth and autonomy, and certainly needs around setting goals. I'm just going to see if anyone has put anything. I can't see the chat. Okay, I got it.
And I can kind of monitor the
Okay.
chat for you, Kyla, and let you know if something comes up too.
Perfect. Thank you so much. All right. Okay, so here's the first question. Why don't we ask for what we need? And if anyone wants to put that in the chat, personally, like what is a barrier that we find to asking for what we need? What are some things that come up for you when you think about a need that you might have, and why you might not just ask for that? Yeah, fear and stigma, fear, anxiety, not knowing what we need. Yeah, past experiences, feeling overwhelmed, so just shutting down, feeling insecure, rejection. Fear. Great, thank you so much. Yes, these are all great reasons why we don't ask for what we need. And so what do we do instead of asking for what we need? Based on those, reasons why, what do we do instead? Yeah, stay stuck. Keep it inside, nothing. Yeah. Yeah, not knowing who to go to from the other side. Thank you. I just saw that. Yeah, we suffer in silence. We isolate. We turn to something to numb out. And we settle for what's being offered versus what we actually want and need. That's great. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. Yes. So, all right. So if we look at our strengths, if we take a moment to look at our strengths and we take some time to reframe, here are just some examples of things. Each person is going to be unique in their own strengths and their own reframing of that. But here's some ideas about reframing fear of rejection. To know that our voice is valuable and speaking up is an opportunity to express ourselves authentically. Rejection is a natural part of life and it doesn't diminish our worth. Right? Overcoming imposter syndrome. Some people feel like an imposter in asking for what they need. I am competent. We're competent and deserving of advocating for ourselves. Our experiences and feelings are valid, and we have a right to assert our needs just like everyone else. Like everyone else. So that's always a good way to think about it, is like we know that other people deserve to get their needs met, so including ourselves in that circle of worthiness. We can address our fear of being seen as selfish by reframing it to advocating for our needs doesn't mean neglecting others. It's essential for my well-being, for our well-being, and we can communicate assertively while still being considerate of other people's perspectives. If we are feeling a lack of self-worth, we can reframe that as knowing that we are worthy of respect and consideration. Again, just like we can see that in other people, that other people might be worthy, other people are worthy. Our opinions and needs hold value. What we have, that, again, going back to that, understanding that when we get our needs met, we can really influence systems and how they operate and how it can help other people as well. We are entitled to advocate for ourselves with confidence. We can reframe challenging cultural and societal conditioning by looking at it, how asserting our needs respectfully is healthy and necessary for personal growth, and it's okay to break from societal norms that inhibit self-advocacy. It's actually really beneficial for many to do that. We can look at our fear, around perfectionism. We can reframe that to, I don't have to wait for perfect conditions to advocate for ourselves. We don't have to wait for that. Each step we take towards self-advocacy is progress, regardless of the circumstances. And we can reframe confronting fear of failure as advocating for ourselves as a learning process, and perceive failures are opportunities for growth, and they do not define our worth or our value of our efforts. And so, reframing failure, there's lots of different ways to do all of these things. These are just some examples of some ways that we can reframe. Did anybody else give an opportunity, or did anyone else give a reframe? If you want to, please feel free to message that in the chat too. And welcome into anyone who just joined us. Great. All right. Okay, so the next step, so we want to decide what we want or what needs to change. So if you want to take a moment to just think about something in your life, think about your life and what is it that you need and want for yourself. And maybe just message, put one thing in the chat if you want to, like maybe it's getting a job or better job or finding housing. Maybe it's, these are some examples on the side. Make more money, get a raise, buy a new car, have a partner, take some sick time, anything like that. So not be subjected to inappropriate sexual talk in our workplace, that comes up, something like that. Those are just examples. But if you have an example that you'd like to share, let's just take a moment to just think about that. I like that reframe, Lauren. It's great. All right. Thank you, Maria. Prioritize self-care. Have more awareness of mental health in workers providing mental health services. Beautiful. Nice. Right. All right. Okay, so we're not going to do this, but in a breakout session. But if anyone wants to just spend a little bit of time in the chat and state the need. Take, if anyone wants to just write it out. So I'm gonna go a little bit more into this. So one thing as an exercise, this is actually a really great exercise. So it's just a needs stating exercise, and it is simply like to just think like simple needs, like I need to do laundry. I need to get my laundry done. I need to get the house ready for the new roommate that's moving in. And the idea of this, and although we're not going to do it, I'll just share a little bit about how this is a great exercise. I need sleep. Yeah, great. Nice. Exactly. So I did this with my roommate, my last roommate that was here, and we just took these turns, he's in recovery too, and we just took these turns stating our needs. And just simple needs, right? Because a lot of times, just getting comfortable with knowing that we all have needs. We all have little needs in the day, right? Sometimes we might think, well, I don't have any needs, or I don't want to have any needs. I don't want anyone to know that I need anything. Having needs, it might be seen as weak, or like, back of why we don't ask for what we need, right? All those things like might shut us down from asking for what we need. So just this nice little like exercise of going, I need to have breakfast after this meeting. I need to feed myself, and so one of the things that was really impactful after we did this exercise was we shared an insight of how that experience was. And something he said that was really beautiful was he said, when I heard you say your need, I really wanted to help you with your need. I wanted to support you in your need. And I said, yeah, I felt that too. I felt that too. And so having that experience of hearing someone else's need like that was a good exercise in going, we naturally will feel inclined to like, oh yeah, I can help you with that, or I want you to get your need met. Those are great, of course, right? Kind of takes that anxiety out of it. So so thank you. Yeah, I need to walk to be away from the desk area. Beautiful. I need to keep my cup full as my job requires putting into others, hence prioritizing self-care. I always put myself last. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, self-care, balance, insights, experiences, making a schedule each week to create variety and feel fulfilled has been helpful. Okay, great. I need to ask for help regarding transportation. Nice. Annie, thank you. Okay. Yeah, we all have needs. Okay, so here's the steps that we take, steps to advocacy. So one is understanding our need, right? Just understanding it, being open to understanding our need. And then we can brainstorm. We can do a brain dump on paper. We can, if we're verbal processors, we can get a friend or our peer. And we can just brain dump, do that sort of exercise that we just did. And then we can define the need. We can create a statement. And then after we've created a statement, we can research the resources and methods that we need to get the need met. The next part is identifying the gatekeepers, the decision makers. Who do we need to take this need to? Who is the one in charge of making this decision? Who's the first person that we can go to that can help us with getting our need met? And that's a really important thing because, we can take this to the wrong person and we can, and that person can't help us and we might be discouraged, so really identifying that gatekeeper and the decision makers is an important part of the process. And then we can make a plan. How are we going to communicate this need? Are we going to send an email? Do we need to make a phone call? Do we need to book an appointment with this person? Do we need a friend to come with us? You know, and part of the making of a plan, and I don't know why I don't have this in here, is role playing. Is having somebody maybe that we can role play with who can act as the gatekeeper, as the decision maker, and help us to language it out and get comfortable in that situation. And maybe we can talk about what we think the gatekeeper is going to say. A lot of times we don't go because we think we already know what the person's going to say. So we've already decided, you know, what the outcome's going to be. So if we can have somebody play that role and find out, you know. All right, and then the last one is preparing for a no. What are we going to do if they say no? And Lauren said, I worked with my 12-year-old to develop need statements when she was feeling overwhelmed, and it was powerful, so helpful. Right on. Okay, thank you so much. All right. So first of all, in making our, in the beginning step is understanding our needs. So we've just kind of gone into that a little bit. So what specific issue or challenge are we facing, right? That requires advocacy. So some of our needs don't require advocacy. Some of the needs we can just get met, like feeding ourselves or, taking a walk. Those kind of things we might be able to meet ourselves. But we might not, taking a walk and getting up from our desk. Maybe somebody might be looking at us funny and saying, where are you going? What are you doing? And we might need to say, hey, I need to go for a walk, every hour, for 5 minutes. I'd like to go around the block and clear my head, or maybe I'd like to sit and meditate or take a nap, in between. And we need to let some people know. Some people need to know and sign off on that and be okay with it, So in understanding our need, we want to ask, why is addressing this issue important to me? Right? What impact is this going to have on my life? And I like the example of going for a walk. A lot of times that can help us to avoid burnout. So it's going to have an impact. And the impact that burnout will have on our life can be pretty severe, and take away a lot of the resources that we need. And so even just having that understanding, like why is this important, right? And so we can reflect on the significance of this need in our daily life and our well-being and our goals. So how all those things that this is going to impact, all the little threads, all the ripples that it's going to create to be able to have this thing that might seem like such a small little ask. It might seem like nothing, it might seem like insignificant and we can just bear it, but when we really spend some time thinking about the significance that this is going to have on our life and our well-being, it can oftentimes give us more of an impetus to ask for what we need. It gives us a little more like, this is important to me. This matters, and it matters for a lot of different things, right? So what will our lives look like when this need is fulfilled? It's a good question to ask. What will we get when this need is fulfilled in our lives? That can be part of creating the statement too. So we spend some time brainstorming, right? And if you want to do this right now, we can do a little bit of it. Just those, if you want to answer any of those last questions. I think it's nice to do when we don't have a lot of time, so I just want to move through this, but it's really a good idea to kind of get into our bodies about this. Like, just take a time to really relax. I'm finding it really helpful with the people that I support, that they value taking some time in our sessions to breathe and relax, and then really go into their own wisdom around these questions. Okay, I'm just checking if there's anything in the chat. Okay, beautiful. Thank you, Maria. Yeah, put some thought into this about the walks. I love that. I'd love to hear back how that goes too. It's my favorite thing, is when we get on the other side of things and hear about that. Okay, all right, so naming and defining the need. This is a very important part, right? It clearly stating the need cultivates a sense of empowerment and confidence. It helps us to feel more prepared and capable when advocating for ourselves. And I have to say, something that I use as a tool a lot is I use the tool of ChatGPT. This is one of the first uses that I did it for, was really around naming and defining needs. I have lived most of my life thinking that I don't have any needs, and not wanting to have any needs, and not wanting anyone to know that I had any needs. So I just went on ChatGPT and said, like, what are some examples of some needs that a person has? And it just had these like beautiful examples, right? And so I said, I have no idea how to ask for these things. So I asked ChatGPT, can you create some needs statements around this? And I was like, oh, just reading them, it was such a great learning tool for me, because I was like, yeah, that's, of course, that makes so much sense. So empowering, to be able to clearly state a need and to cultivate that need, and to really like move it into my being and into my body, right? So a well-defined need statement is persuasive, convincing, and clear. And I love the quote that clear is kind. To be clear is kind. It's kind to us. It's kind to the person we're communicating it to, so they don't have to like get confused or try to figure it out for us, it's clear as kind. All right. And okay. So clearly define what the need is. So what do I need, and what do I want the outcome to look like? So we're focusing on a solution here. What do I want the outcome to look like? I just want to use that example of a walk again. I think it's such a great example. The outcome, might look like something like, like I said, it's like, at least 3 times a day, I'm going to go for a walk outside. It might look like that. It might look like me leaving my desk, being gone, not on my phone, not reachable, for 15 minutes, like 3 times a day or something like that, just to be able to clearly say, I need to leave the building. I need to take some time to myself. I need to be unreachable for 15 minutes, Is that something that you can accommodate for me? Something like that. So here's some examples of some need statements. I need strategies and coping mechanisms to manage triggers and cravings effectively, and I need assistance in developing a personalized plan. Great. So clear, right? If somebody comes to us and says something like that, here we go. Let's do it. I can totally support you in that, right? So that clarity of coming up with that needs statement really helps to give them exactly what they want. You want to manage triggers, cravings effectively, right? And you need a plan on how to do that. Fantastic, right? It's so clear. I need a structured repayment plan to manage my debt responsibly within my financial constraints. Great, super clear, right? I need help developing self-advocacy skills because XYZ, right? So how can we do this together? It's great. All right. Okay, we're gonna. So if anyone, yeah, here, hold on one second. If anyone would like to share a clear statement, or if anyone wants to do that, it's a little. We might not have enough. Let me see what time it is. Yeah, we do have enough time. Yeah, if anyone would like to share the need and the statement in the chat.
There's some great ones in the chat right now.
Oh, thank you. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Okay, Maria, I need to allow myself to grieve so I can embrace the essence of me again. Yeah, beautiful. Thank you. I need to allow myself to grieve so I can embrace the essence of me again. I love that. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. All right. Okay. That's beautiful. And then and so when we do this, when we listen actively to each other, right, about the needs in that brainstorming session, we can help to share even like the impact that statement has, right? When you share that that statement, it is, the impact that can have is like it can open us up to be like, oh, like, yeah, I need that too. I need something like that. Or it allows us to like share that idea so that we all can realize, that we have needs and that we can get our needs met too. So So sharing them and listening actively and helping, providing feedback for someone who is really new and has never done this and never spoken up for themselves is a really important part of the process, right? Thank you, Lauren. I need to create time every day to be present with myself and my needs. Yeah, great. All right. And so we can help each other to get even more specific with those kind of things. Like, what time of the day works best for you, Lauren? When would you like to implement that? You know, and and what does that mean to be present for you? Like, what does that look like? Is there any kind of ritual or any kind of thing that you need to come in and support you around that too? That you could include in that statement. Like, should the kids be there? Are the kids around? Right? Yeah. So just all that kind of stuff, right? We get to brainstorm together and find out. All right. Thank you for sharing that. Okay. Okay. The third part is the research. So what have we already tried? How have we tried to get this need met? Right? Maybe we've yelled. Maybe we've gotten angry, maybe we've even tried as a coping strategy to not talk about it, right? And just see if somebody else is going to just handle it, right? Like we can go into all the little things that we try to do to get this need met, whether they were, all the different ways. What have we tried? Have we tried putting up boundary? Have we tried to so it's really explore what we've tried to do to get this need met. Tried to have somebody else figure it out for us. Yes, Lauren.
I just wanted to say, it's funny, even you just asking me those questions about my needs statement made it so much more real, right? Because it's easy to throw a needs statement out in the chat and then be like, oh gosh, yeah, how am I going to do that? And so instantly over here where I went is, oh, I have to set time on my calendar. I hadn't really thought about how to do it. It's just, oh, I need this. So just that simple question of, oh, when are you going to do it? Are the kids present? Really got me thinking, okay, I now have follow-up to do to hold myself accountable. Otherwise, it just doesn't happen. So I just wanted to highlight how much I appreciate those questions because you got me.
Wonderful. Awesome. Thank you for sharing that, Lauren. Appreciate you. All right. Yeah, great. Oops. Okay. So yeah, who have we discussed our needs with? Right? Who are we talking about this with? And how are we discussing it? Right? Are we in a place of, just complaining or blaming, or, how that's a very normal part of the process too. Very normal. It's someone else's fault that I'm not getting what I need, whose fault is it, and how have we discussed this? Who have we brought into our complications and our problems, right? Who have we complained to, right? Who have we discussed this with? And so just going through all that too, and maybe we've tried to say it, maybe we've tried to be good and kind, and we've tried to we've written emails, we've talked to people, we've done all these things, right? So getting that down in our notes is a really important part of that, like just putting that down on paper. Who have we tried to do this, and what has happened as a result, right? If we're still here, we haven't gotten the need met, right? So then we can ask ourselves, what resources do we need to support us? Where can we go to get support for this, right? Could we go to our peer support? Can we talk to our therapist about this? Do we need to go to HR? Do we need to, sorry, that's more the gatekeeper. Do we need to, what resources can support us? Is there any legal stuff that we need, right? Are there any videos we could watch on this subject? There's a lot of stuff on YouTube that can help us, right? So, and then next is who can help us. So is there someone that we know who has had this need met? Who do we see in our lives who is already doing this? And can we ask them how they did what they did to get there? Okay, great. Thank you. Noah, I love the specificity of the research piece and mindfulness. Nice. Thank you. Tools like schedules and reminders for important dates, really helpful. Yes. Yes. And that is, so that even could be wrapped up into some of the things that people need some needs, right? Is knowing how to use those tools, right? How to get it on the schedule, how to get the reminder, right, for those important dates. So that's an important part of it. Thank you. Yeah. Otherwise it doesn't happen. Yeah. Alarms for my alarms. I know. Totally. Oh, that's great. Thank you. Immediate professionals can help with resources. Yes, absolutely. Yes. That is part of our job too, is helping bring the resources to support people. Um, yeah, and who has that for us too? Who has the resources? Who knows? And what are we eligible for? What's offered or available to us? Knowing that's part of the resources is understanding what we're eligible for, right? Like part of the job that we do as peers too is understanding what they have access to within their in their insurance companies, right? Understanding what they're eligible for, what's available. All right. Okay, so number 4 is identifying and working with the gatekeeper. So really a gatekeeper is the person to whom the need will be communicated to, although they may not be the one to make the ultimate decision, right? So we have to decide who this person is and the best way to connect with them and understand. Oh, and this part is understanding what the gatekeeper cares about. This is actually a really important part, right? So oftentimes, this is where I like to use the language of the system to help support the advocacy that I'm asking for, is really finding out what the mission of that person is, that organization, right? What do they care about? What is important to them? And being able to speak to what they care about and how what they care about supports what I need. That's a really important part, right, in understanding that, because then we feel like we are joined on the same team together, right? Like that, go back to that example of going for a walk. It's like, if we need to ask to go for a walk, right? How can going for a walk really support the person I need to ask? How can it support what their interest is and what they care about, right? Do they care about having a healthy, happy employer, right, who is working with them, who is able to be productive and efficient because they have taken this time out, right? So being able to articulate the need in that way is really important, because then you get a real ally with the gatekeeper, right? And that person can really support you. And again, documentation is really vital, right? If we need to write this down, because we might have a gatekeeper that is not doing well, and it's like, no, I can't hear you. And that's not what I want. And I'm not even aligned with the mission of this place, because I'm just not doing well myself, and so sometimes we need to document, so that we need to show, look, I've brought this forth so many times, and I'm being ignored, and this person is not, right? So we go to the person above, and we can clearly communicate that. So the documentation is really vital. All right, and then we make a plan. So we combine the needs statement that we've made, the research to develop the plan for action. We can write the plan, including the needs statement, and getting as clear and precise as possible, right? So it might be, I'm going to schedule an appointment. The plan is to schedule an appointment for Tuesday at 8 a.m. to speak with my supervisor and clearly articulate that I need to take a break 3 times a day, and I'm going to go at this time during the day when I've finished my work here, blah, 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 like all that stuff, to make it super clear, right? And so that we can execute on that plan. Just check the chat. Yes, documentation is huge. Things like Evernote are good ways to do that too, but that's I think can be developed a little bit more, but like all the ways to make a document, to document, and where those things are going to be kept is a really important part. Just scratching it down on pieces of paper beside our desk and then wondering where we put those things will make it a lot more difficult to go back. So having that clear documentation and a safe space that we're keeping it in is really important. And also all the considerations of documentation. Are we documenting something about work that we don't want to have on our work that is available for that person to be able to see? You know, my documents are shared with Lauren, so Lauren might be able to go into my documents, and if my situation is with Lauren, I might not want to have those things on my computer. So all those considerations for documents are important. All right, the next one is preparing for a no. So we're not going to break out, but just imagine that we have said what we needed, right? We say what we need. This is actually a great little exercise. So this is a playful, good exercise where, you know, somebody will tell you, I need to take a shower. You know, I need to take a shower. Can I have some time to go take a shower? No, I can't give you that time right now. I can't give you that. You know, just like, I need this thing. No, I can't give you that. I can't give you that. I can't. Can you help me with my laundry? No, I can't. And just getting to feel the no, you know. And I did this exercise again with my roommate, and we tried to like ask for just like outrageous things, just like ask each other for whatever we think, and sort of get into this sense of the yes, the no, and the maybe, right? Feel into our own bodies when we're doing this and be like, yeah, I could help you with that. Or no, that actually doesn't work for me, like, you know, for XYZ reasons. Like really getting honest about the thing, or just no, that is not something that I do, for sure. So it works for both things too, right? Like we get to explore our no's, our yeses, and our maybes, and we get to feel the impact of somebody having their own autonomy and saying yes or no, or I might be able to do that, right? And just being able to feel into that. So this is a nice game to play. Okay, so what is our plan to say or do when we get a no? What are we going to do? And this is a great thing to do in the role playing of the needs statement too, is to plan what are we going to say, right? How are we going to respond when they say no, you know, in that moment, right? And then where are we going to move to next? What do we need to do next? What are our rights around this situation, right? And so then what do we need to do next, right? How can we make that part of our plan? All right, so this is about a role-playing interaction for that, but I think that really brings us to the end. That brings us to the end. What time is it now? Yeah, so it says okay, yeah, great. It's a little bit earlier than I thought it was going to be. Yes, definitely having a backup plan. Using an email as a backup for information that needs to be kept as important. Oh, that's a great idea. Yes, it's an excellent idea, Annie. Thank you. See the perspective of why the no is said from the other person involved. That's right. So important. I once role played with someone regarding going to Social Security and did a ton of prepping. And then when we got there, they got a no and threw a chair at a window. Wish I had talked about what to do when you get a no. Yes, I know. I know, right? Like, yeah, that a no is a possibility, and really understanding that the no is a possibility. And the thing about disability that's very interesting, so Social Security, is that oftentimes it feels like no is their first thing that you get. I know most people get no right away. And so even having that discussion, it's like, this is a common place where no will come here, right? And then we go into appeal. We can appeal. I implement my everyday life with my patients to see if it may help them. Oh, sorry, Annie, what did I miss something? What do you implement? The backup plan for
Yeah,
now?
a lot of stuff, a lot of stuff actually. So what really had me was one time I went to this is how it happened. Went to Starbucks. It's a funny story. Every time I go to Starbucks, they would take my cake out of the packaging. And I would wonder why. Like, why do you guys do that? How come you just can't give me the cake already in the package? You're not going to warm it up. So why are you removing it out of the package? And they say we have no way of knowing if you're going to eat it right then and there, or if you're going to save it. So since I use the app on my phone all the time, the mobile app, I put right next to my name, keep in the package. And so when I order something, they already know if it's a food item to keep it in the package. So I don't have to worry about having my cakes spewed all over the car while I'm driving, trying to hurry up and get to work. So a lot of things that I was mentioning in the chat are things that I try to implement in my everyday life with the patients. Like if they had spoke to someone about housing and you want to keep the person's name, put the person's name that you're saving plus say for housing, for the apartment, or for my mental health, for appointment. That way, when they go and look for that person, they can remember. They don't have to use, like remember, like, oh, especially if there's someone that's struggling with their mental health or with substance use, they don't have to worry about what they need. And then I say, go to your email, put the person's email. Let me help you and show you how to put their emails in your email. And then that way, if you need to reach out to them, or if you lose your phone, which sometimes it happens because some of our patients are homeless, they'll freak out and they'll say, I lost that number. Oh my God, what am I going to do? And it's like the end of the world for them. So what I like to do is say, hey, there's a library down the street. You can go to the library. It's a cooling station too as well. So it's like a 2-for-1. So you can go there and get cooled off, drink some water, calm down, ask for a computer, go on there, log on, it's free, get a library card. I tell them step by step what to do so that when they get there, they can automatically get on there and your information is right there in Google. You don't, let me show you what that looks like. Have a pen, have a piece of paper, and it doesn't matter who's looking at you if they think you're whatever, but write that stuff down. And again, if you lose the paper, you can go back. And some people still implement that even when they get their housing, even for when they go have to pay a bill, they keep everything in their phone. So that's what I mean by that.
That's excellent. Thank you so much for sharing that. Yeah, beautiful. I mean, yeah, I could do that now. I could implement that for me. Yeah. And
Yeah.
also help support and to help support our members. Thank you so much for doing that. It's great. Yeah. Yeah, those little things matter. Being able to do those little things. They feel like little things actually, but they're huge. They're huge, like you said, because without those things, the emotional regulation can just go out the window and then it can collapse the whole structure that that they're trying to build. So yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. Does anyone have any questions or comments about the presentation or like to share what that was like for them or any ideas that came up for you?
I just say I think I'm pretty good with the topic, but I also learned different techniques and ways to do it. I really appreciated the talk around like the how to do it and the brainstorming on like who have you talked to, like breaking it down to more of a science, something that you can see as opposed to just like saying in my mind that I've already done all I can. Like actually seeing it on paper would be helpful for me. So just want to appreciate you for that.
Thanks, Noah.
One of the things that I really appreciated too is just the reminder for us to be doing this. I think I had a big realization that I got what I thought was really good at supporting people with self-advocacy for a long time. And then I realized, oh, I don't model this very well in my own life. And so once I started incorporating that more, I'm actually way more effective in supporting other people because I've started practicing it. And I'm still not where I need to be with it. And this was a really good reminder that if I want to truly be effective in supporting other people, I got to do this for myself. Otherwise, I'm being a little bit of a hypocrite, which doesn't feel great. So this was a reminder. I have some need statements that I need to follow up. I need to follow up on my need statements as a result of this. So thank you so much for just the questions that you asked. I'm really thinking a lot right now. Thank you.
Thanks, Lauren. I got this the Asking Manifesto. There's a woman, Kemi Nekvapil. She's an incredible, I love her work. She's a coach. She writes a book about asking. And so she has this on her website. Incredible. She wrote 2 books. They're great that I use. Sometimes I'll do a chapter with somebody. We've sat and listened to the book on some of our sessions with peers. And anyway, so the Asking Manifesto is just great. It's like just a reminder that we can ask for like so many things, and I think it's called The Power of Asking, The Gift of Asking, The Power of Asking. I don't know. I'm sorry. I can't remember. Her name is Kemi Nekvapil. And yeah, highly recommend. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you for coming and being a part of this that we're doing here together, supporting people, and also like Lauren said, like doing this ourselves. Really, reminder, important to model.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Kyla. I really appreciate this. And, I always learn from and with you. So just want to thank you and thank everybody for being here. We are going to be sending out a follow-up handout. Kyla referenced some really great information, and there is a handout that you can use. It's actually from the Washington State Certified Peer Counselor training. And I know Kyla has used that before with folks, and she walked us through it. So we can send out that handout, which is just breaking down the steps for self-advocacy. So I go to the emails that we have on file, which are the same ones in the invite. If somebody forwarded you this this meeting or the flyer, and that's how you got here, Maria, I got your email that you dropped in, but if you can drop in your email, I will make sure that we include you on the list when we get that stuff sent out tomorrow. So if we were concerned we may not have your email, drop it in. And I just want to again thank everyone for being here. This is part of a series that we're doing and offering, and we will have another webinar coming up, and it'll be in last weekend in July. So we're going to be getting that sent out to folks here pretty soon. So you'll get some additional information on our next webinar. And we just appreciate you being here. So the next one, just so you know, is a little bit more technical, and it's about how to use the app. So for folks that maybe are referring people here, we're actually going to get our one of our amazing product people who's going to be coming and showing some screenshots and really just walking through like, hey, this is what the app looks like. This is how that folks can use it and how y'all can use it. I think that's an area that we really want to strengthen, is being able to show that the app actually, and the scheduling thing, can be used to support the work that y'all are doing, not just the meetings that we have with them. And they can get credit when they meet with you. So they're actually earning rewards through that. So we want to make sure that the providers that are referring people or that are serving people that are using the app really know how it can benefit and hold accountability and reinforce the work and the incredible work that you're already doing. Yeah, Annie.
I had just a question. I know we spoke maybe about 2 or 3 weeks ago. Are we expecting any type of like, I guess some flyers or something like that? I know that we had me and the director Robert spoke to you about 2 or 3
Yeah,
weeks
did
ago.
you get them or did you not? You did
We
not receive any.
Oh no, I don't. I believe because if we did, he would have given it to me to pass out to the
Okay.
counselors.
Thank
So
you. That's good to know. So I'll follow up and find out
okay,
the
please.
status of that and if they were sent or if there was an error. So, I
Okay,
thought those got sent out. So I'll make sure that the flyers in both English and Spanish, if something happened and, en route, I'll make sure that we get those shipped out again.
and I'll
Do you
follow
mind
up too.
sending? Okay, awesome. Oh, I've got your email right here.
Mm-hmm,
Perfect.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll find out. I'll
Sure.
connect with our person that sends those out and make sure that you get those. Thank you.
Thank you.
Also, I wanted to ask, thank you first, Kyla, for all the information you give. I got to piggyback with Lauren. It was a very good reminder. We do this all day with our clients, teaching them how to use their voice and how their voice is, the most important thing that matters. But somehow mine gets drowned out in my own chaos of my own day-to-day activity. Or filling someone else's cup, you tend to leave yours on empty. But thank you for the reminders. But I also wanted to know, since I did get this training forwarded to me from my employer, is there any way to get on the list so I can get future trainings? Thank you.
Yes, you dropped your email in and I have it right here, and we'll add you to our outreach list, and we'll make sure that we add that to all of the invites so that you'll get those. So
Awesome.
I
Thank
got
you.
you right here. We'll get you connected. Thank you so much. All right. I'm gonna